What are diminished musical intervals? Have you ever listened to a piece of music and felt a sudden sense of tension or unease? That feeling often comes from diminished musical intervals. But what exactly are they? To understand diminished intervals, we first need to know what an interval is. An interval is simply the distance between two musical notes. This distance is measured in steps or half steps on a scale. Musical intervals can be categorized into different types. Perfect intervals include unisons, fourths, fifths, and octaves. Major and minor intervals include seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. Now, a diminished interval is created by lowering either a minor interval or a perfect interval by one half step, which is also called a semitone. For instance, if you take a minor interval and reduce it by one half step, you create a diminished interval. Similarly, if you lower a perfect interval by one half step, you also get a diminished interval. Let's look at a specific example. A perfect fifth above the note C is G. If you lower that G by one half step to G flat, the interval from C to G flat becomes a diminished fifth. Another example is a minor seventh above A, which is G. Lowering G by one half step to G flat creates a diminished seventh interval above A. Diminished intervals are often described as dissonant. This means they create a sense of tension or instability in music that typically seeks resolution. This quality makes diminished intervals powerful tools in composition. They can evoke emotional intensity or spiritual tension that eventually resolves into harmony. From a spiritual perspective, diminished intervals can represent moments of contraction or challenge within a musical journey. They reflected the tension between dualities like light and shadow or struggle and transcendence. The dissonant sound of diminished intervals can symbolize the process of transformation through vibration and sound. When resolution occurs, it brings about a sense of releases, healing, or awakening. In practice, diminished intervals add depth and complexity to spiritual music. They introduce subtle vibrations that engage the listener's inner awareness. These intervals can create a sonic space that invites meditation on impermanence, change, and the movement toward balance. Understanding diminished intervals helps musicians and listeners appreciate how sound shapes emotional and spiritual experiences through the relationships between notes. So next time you hear a dissonant sound in music, remember that it may just be a diminished interval adding richness to the experience.